everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and in this video I'm going to share some information with you on balancing your blood sugar. Now this is something that I personally do not have a problem with, but I do have a lot of family history of diabetes in my family, not just on one side, but on both. In fact, my dad is the second oldest of 7, and my mom is the oldest of 7. And all of my parents' siblings on both sides, including my parents, both had diabetes. And it was something that a lot of times you'll hear, oh, it runs in our family. We can't control it. It's something out of my control. And what I believe is that there's a tiny, tiny genetic predisposition to almost every single disease. But most of us are not a slave to our genetic disposition. We are in charge of the health or the diseases that our body expresses. So I have written down a bunch of information that I want to share with you on some tips on how to get your blood sugar under control, prevent diabetes, and even possibly help heal yourself from type 1 or even type 2 diabetes. So this is not meant to be medical advice. This is simply my own opinion based on my own research. And this is meant to educate you and entertain you and hopefully give you a bump of motivation. If quitting the sugar train is something you need to do, especially if diabetes is looming in your future or you know you have problems balancing blood sugar, then I hope that this gives you some motivation and some tips and tricks that maybe you didn't know about. I think that most of these things you probably did. So I've actually got quite a bit of notes here because I didn't want to leave anything out. But one of the first things that I think we need to really pay attention to is our diet. And there's a lot of things that are trending right now as far as things that you can eat, actual nutrition plans that a lot of people that are promoting these things believe they can help balance your blood sugar. So I'm gonna go through these pretty quickly. Low carb and keto diets, intermittent fasting. I love that one because I do believe that really helps with so many things besides blood sugar. Plant-based or vegan diets, like alternative sweeteners. Now this is something that's really important because you don't want to do artificial sweeteners. I believe that artificial sweeteners can actually be worse for your health for other reasons, not necessarily for blood sugar, but for brain problems, for anything that's artificial that goes into your body can mess up with systems that we don't want messed with. So things like monk fruit and xylitol and stevia, these are all really good substitutes for sugar if you need to add a little something sweet. In fact, I love stevia in the raw. It's a product that comes in little packets. I think you can get it in a powder form too. But if I ever want to sweeten my tea or sweeten, every once in a while I like iced coffee, and I'll put a little bit of stevia in it. And it's delicious, and it's completely made from a plant. Stevia is a plant. In fact, stevia is one of the plants that's in my shaman book. So, look it up. If you're a person that's watching this channel, you probably are familiar with stevia. But monk fruit is wonderful to cook with, and so is xylitol and allulose. Those are all good sugar substitutes. And then on the lifestyle piece, we've got mindful eating. Have a personalized nutrition plan made for you. If you've got a real motivation to sit down with someone who can design a personalized plan for you depending on your lifestyle. What does your day look like? How much time do you have to prepare your food? Are you constantly eating out and eating the wrong things because it's just convenient? I think that's a really big thing. And I think if you work in an office where maybe someone brings in a birthday cake for a person's birthday and there's a lot of people in your office, or they bring a lot of goodies in for the holidays, no matter what holiday, that can be so hard. And have something there that's going to, you can eat while you're maybe building your willpower muscle, or you're simply not tempted by these things anymore. Because as we know, sugar is highly, highly addictive. Think about your gut health. Really pay attention to exercise. And one of the things that's really, really good for balancing blood sugar is what's called HIIT training, which is high intensity interval training. And this might be something that you can only do little spurts of, where you do, you do 20 jumping jacks, and then you walk for 2 minutes, and then you do another 20 jumping jacks, or burpees. Burpees can really get your heart up. If you don't know what a burpee is, look it up. That is a high intensity interval training. So maybe do, 20 burpees and then take a break for a couple of minutes. Then do 20 more burpees. Now this is something that really gets your heart rate up, gets you out of breath, and then you recover. And then you get your heart rate back up and you recover. It's so good for balancing blood sugar. And if it's something that you've never done or it intimidates you, I would highly suggest that you look into it. And then the last thing on this little list in particular is to make sure you optimize your sleep. I think that we tend to be creatures of habit. And if you're a person who is used to eating a bowl of cereal right before you go to bed, they typically have sugar in them, or maybe you sprinkle sugar on them, or maybe you're just giving yourself a lot of carbs right before you go to bed that will turn into sugar. Maybe you like a bowl of ice cream, or you like a cookie before you go to bed. It's just habit. It's routine. So we need to break out of these habits, right? And not only will it help you with your blood sugar if you're not eating late at night, but it's going to help you with better sleep. We don't really sleep that great with a big full stomach. At least I know I don't. And I think if you do some research, you'll probably find that's true. And I'm going to throw one thing in here is ice plunging, cold plunging. Take an ice shower, take a cold shower first thing you get up in the morning. After you brush your teeth, jump in the shower, make it cold, 2 or 3 minutes. This is going to really change your metabolism. It's going to change your body. And I've had people tell me that they believe it helps with their blood sugar. So do some research on that as well. Now, we all know that balancing our blood sugar requires changing the foods that we eat. And there are some foods that have a very low glycemic index, which is what we want. And they will fill you up, and they'll taste good, and they'll be full of nutrition. So I'm going to go through this list really quick. You want your non-starchy vegetables. So think about leafy greens, like spinach, kale, and arugula. I love arugula. That's one of my favorite greens. It's got that peppery, such a very unique taste. It is so good. Broccoli, cauliflower, bell peppers, cucumbers, zucchini, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, and tomatoes. Those are all on a very good low glycemic index. Whole grains, legumes, lean proteins, nuts and seeds, fruits in moderation. Okay, some of your best are strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries. So your berries also have a fairly low glycemic index. Cherries, apples with the skin, pears, citrus like oranges and grapefruit, and kiwi. So some of the other, like bananas, are actually very high have a high glycemic index. And you definitely want to have your citruses in the whole, peel the fruit and eat the whole orange or eat the whole grapefruit. When you juice it, you're getting that, it's like giving yourself a shot of just almost pure sugar, and there's no bulk in it. So I would definitely suggest that you stay away from fruit juices. Healthy fats, herbs and spices, and I'm going to talk more about herbs. Beverages, you want to stay very hydrated with water. And then I'm going to also give you some tips on some teas that you can actually drink that will help balance blood sugar. There's some beautiful teas. Talked about the sweeteners, and go with the fiber-rich foods that are high in fiber. Eat the apple. Have some oatmeal. There's definitely some really good things that you can do food-wise that will get you full, it will keep you satisfied, and will help you balance those blood sugar levels. And it's just a matter of swapping your habits out, right? Now, there's certainly a piece of motivation that comes in with this. Set clear goals. That's the first one. Set a goal. Educate yourself. Educate yourself on these things, and we're all different. So there's things that might work for me that don't work for you. There's things that might work for you that don't work for your sibling. You know, we're all unique and different. You know, visualize yourself having success. And one of the things I love too is think about giving yourself a reward. So visualize your success and be willing to be patient and consistent, right? To me, those are the biggest things. And I wrote down a few other things here too, but I think those are the most important. So now what I want to get to is I want to get to the list of, first let's do tea. So there are several teas that I wrote down here that I absolutely love, and they will help you balance blood sugar. And if you're not a tea drinker, I would start swapping out your coffee, your Red Bull, your soda, your juices. Start swapping out those drinks with tea, you know. And a good thing to help balance blood sugar too is when we're talking about beverages is alcohol. Alcohol is not good for helping your blood sugar be regulated. So what I like to do is swap out when I might normally have a glass of wine for dinner. I will brew myself up a cup of tea because it's something that I'm holding on to. It's warm and it's delicious, and we get into these habits of a glass of wine every single day with dinner because it's habit. Okay, we might enjoy it, but you would enjoy a brewed up cup of beautiful tea. Hopefully if it's in the evening, it's caffeine-free tea, because then you don't have to worry about going into the evening with a bunch of caffeine in your system. So some of the good teas for that are bitter melon tea, fenugreek tea, chamomile, ginger, cinnamon, and then you've also got black tea and green tea. All of these teas will help regulate and balance blood sugar. So in the evening, try to go with the ones like cinnamon tea or ginger. Ginger is really, really good for digestion as well. And cinnamon is very well known for helping to balance blood sugar. Cinnamon's also really good for your heart, which is amazing. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to tell you about are some of my favorite herbs for balancing blood sugar. And I've already talked about a couple of these, which are cinnamon, fenugreek. Those are two herbs that if you can find them in a tea, which you should be pretty, with access to online, it should be pretty easy for you to find any of these teas online. And I will tell you, cinnamon tea, there's nothing like it. It is so, so good, especially when it's cold and especially around the holidays. You can even brew up cinnamon with some ginger, with some clove and some anise, and you've got the most delicious holiday spiced up tea, and you don't even need to add anything to it to sweeten it. In fact, if you are a tea drinker and you're used to adding a bunch of sugar or even alternative sweeteners to your tea, I would suggest breaking yourself out of that habit and just enjoying the pure, delicious flavors of the herbs that make up these teas. So one of my favorite herbs for balancing blood sugar is called Genema sylvestre. Now this is known as the sugar destroyer. I mean, this is literally what it's known to do. This herb may help reduce sugar cravings and support healthy blood sugar levels by enhancing insulin function. So think about that. That is a powerful herb, Genema sylvestre. And I'll put that below the video. I'll put a list of these herbs below this video. Cinnamon, which is a beloved spice, it can improve insulin sensitivity, making it easier for your cells to absorb sugar from your bloodstream. Okay, think about how powerful that is. And it's a delicious spice. Turmeric, with its potent anti-inflammatory properties, can assist in reducing inflammation, often associated with diabetes, and supporting overall well-being. There's actually a tea I love from Star West Botanicals, and it's a turmeric chai. So turmeric chai, and it's got all the chai spices, and then it's got turmeric. And I'll put a link below this for that tea. That's where I get my turmeric chai. I take a turmeric supplement every day, but I love this turmeric chai tea. It's so delicious. Fenugreek. Now, fenugreek is an interesting herb. The seeds are rich in a soluble fiber, which can often slow down the absorption of sugar and help maintain stable blood sugar levels. So the part of fenugreek that you use is the seeds, okay? Rosemary. Now, of course, who doesn't love rosemary, right? So besides its delightful flavor, Rosemary may help enhance digestion and metabolism, indirectly contributing to better blood sugar control. So it kind of works in an indirect way. What I love to do with rosemary is cook with it, like a baked potato, or, I'm a potato person. I grew up in Idaho. I love, love, love everything potato. I love tater tots, baked potatoes, mashed potatoes, hash browns. Potatoes are just one of my favorites. And what I really love to do is I love to chop up fresh rosemary and just sprinkle it on my potato, whatever potato it is I'm eating. And that's just a really nice way to not only get all the beautiful flavor of rosemary, but all of the health benefits as well. And the last one on this list is an herb called holy basil. Now, holy basil is a powerful adaptogen, and it helps to balance body chemistry. And the reason I love it for blood sugar is this. It possesses anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties, which may help promote better blood sugar management. Okay, that's a whole big mouthful. So what I would say is this: make a game plan. Decide what it is that you want. Decide, make a decision, and then be steadfast and realize that you can have whatever health you want. If you think that diabetes runs in your family, well, it certainly runs in mine. I have a couple of siblings that are dealing with blood sugar issues. And, we have our parents and all of our aunts and uncles on both sides all have problems with diabetes. So the thing is it doesn't have to be a part of your disposition. You get to make the decision. And I would just, get out that journal of yours and start making a plan. Set a goal for what it is that you want to do. Add some of these teas in. These teas are gifts from God, gift from Mother Earth. I love them. Now, I'm going to bring this out at the end, so we're at minute 17. If you got to the end of this, this is actually something that we've had out for a while. This is a product called Stabilize 7. And this has all 7 of the herbs that I just talked about in this formula. Now, when I made this formula, and it's in capsule form because it needs to go through the digestive process, so this is not in a tincture. This product, Stabilize 7, comes in a capsule only. Now, basically, when those herbs go in through the digestive process, as compared to like a liquid to the bloodstream, it actually changes the way your body works with it. Your liver, your gallbladder gets involved, and then it goes through your digestive process. All 7 of these beautiful herbs are in there. Now, when we first brought this out a few years ago, we called it Balance 7. So like balancing blood sugar, but Balance 7. And about 4 or 5 years in, we actually got a cease and desist from a water company that had named their water Balance 7. So even though we had been using this name before they even formed their company, we didn't want to go through all of the whatever legal to keep the name Balance 7. So we brought this back a couple of years ago, and we call it Stabilize 7. And this has been a really beautiful game changer for many, many people who've discovered this. It's super, super easy to take. What we do suggest on here is 2 capsules twice a day. And I would say in the morning before, if you eat a morning meal, and if you don't, if you're an intermittent faster, go ahead and do this before you break your first, you have your first meal, and then right before dinner, 20 or 30 minutes before a meal. And this will go in, all those beautiful properties, especially the Genema sylvestra. That's the number one thing in here because it's known as the sugar destroyer. Take a look at all of these herbs. Do some of your own research. Let me know what you think about this. Maybe let me know what I left off, because I know there's always a lot of nuances around how people control their blood sugar naturally, what they do maybe in a situation, like me. Are you in the same situation? Do you have diabetes all throughout your family and you've been able to stave it off and say, nope, that's not the path I'm going to take? I've been really, really blessed to have a love of exercise. And it's something that I don't feel good if I skip. And if anything, in fact, yesterday I had a super busy day, and I didn't get a chance to get my workout in, which I usually try to do sometime in the morning. And by the time I kind of screeched in at the end of the day and I was just super tired, I got on my elliptical and I went at it hard and worked up a good sweat for 40 minutes. And then I took a fast shower and I sat down and had dinner with my husband. And I know that everybody might not have the luxury of being able to do something like that. You might have small kids. You might have, I understand that there are many different lives and lifestyles and responsibilities that are happening in the world. But I would love to hear, where are you in your journey as far as the sugar thing? Where I'm posting this video, the time of year is we're getting ready to have the first day of December. So we're heading into we've just had the Thanksgiving holiday, and we're heading into the Christmas holiday. And I will tell you, tea is my biggest ally. And I'm gonna probably end that right there. And I'll tell you why the whole tea thing is. Because I can take a packet of tea, no matter where I go, friend's house, party, wherever. I can brew up a cup of hot water and brew up some tea, and I am carrying my tea around, and I don't feel left out. I don't feel obligated to sip on anything, alcoholic or whatever, or even eat the sweets. So especially if I'm strategic about the kind of tea I'm drinking, if it's one of these teas. So I hope that gives you a little bit of motivation to really pay attention to your blood sugar, maybe get a grip on the sugar monster if you kind of dip in and out of it. But I'd love to hear what you think about this, and I hope this has given you a beautiful shot of motivation and some tips. So have a beautiful day, guys, and we'll see you next time.